Happy 2025, guys. This is the first video of the year, and welcome back if you have been with me since before, and welcome if you are new here. So in these videos, I discuss the body language and behaviour, with most of the time it is surrounding Harry and Meghan because they are the gift that keeps on giving. And today is no exception, but this is 2025 and there's going to be some changes on this channel. But don't worry, not changing the name again because I know that fluffed you all up. And so, yeah. So today's video, we are going to be discussing the, is it rebrand number 10? Not sure, but yeah, it's the latest trailer that has dropped on Netflix. We're going to be discussing that because, well, there has been some crazy things coming out. So my name is Ems and I'm a qualified UK therapist, and I use my professional and personal, because believe it or not, I am not a therapist 24/7, to discuss the behaviour, body language, what is kind of going on, not just what's said, but what's not being said in regards to, for the most part, Harry and Meghan. But like I say, this is 2025 and there are going to be some changes on the channel. So if this is the type of channel for you, then go grab yourself a cuppa, then relax and sit back as we dive right in. So before I get going, I just want to point this out. This was sent to me, and I just want to say that I think this might be my new mantra for 2025. Excuse the cuss word. I know some people are not always au fait with cuss words, but yes. And it does say, for the, because I think it might be the other way round. A wise woman once said, "F this shit," and she lived happily ever after. And I couldn't agree more. So video, right, Harry and Meghan. Well, actually, let's just go with Meghan because this is primarily what this video is about. So the trailer has dropped and we all knew this was coming. We all knew this was coming. So it isn't a surprise. Okay. Like many of us, I'm sure, when we saw this this trailer drop, I had to stop myself from laughing. Now, I try, as you know, to be quite diplomatic on this channel because at the end of the day, I am a therapist, even though this isn't therapy, and this is really a channel where I use the skills that I've honed over the years. But it is primarily me, and my opinions do differ from what I would do sometimes professionally, which is the case for a lot of people. And when I saw the trailer drop, I just was like, she's done it again. And I will say that Netflix showcased the trailer on YouTube and they left the comments open, and oh my goodness, you guys did not disappoint. I mean, I literally just went there and I was shocked to see the comments open. I thought this is either a mistake because most of the time they shut the comments down, or they've done it intentionally, because I've heard, and I don't know if it's true because again, there's no categorical proof, that Meghan didn't want any comments being left open because she has shut them down on her Instagram. Someone's afraid of the truth, perhaps. And no, Netflix left them open. And I'm going to put up a little screen grab here of a few as we go along, because they are just, some of them are just hilarious. So yeah, the trailer. Well, firstly, what grabbed me straight away was this fake, well, no, do you know what, actually, no, before I get to the trailer, I'm going to get to the beach, what was it? What can we call it? I don't know. Where she runs onto the beach and she's all giggly and she's dressed in white and it's kind of black and white and it's 2025. She writes it in the sand, trying to create us to believe that this was just a natural moment. And of course the media is like, oh, and I think Prince Harry was behind the camera. No, I probably guess Prince Harry isn't behind the camera, because as I have said, and so many people have said, these two are not together. They appear together because there's contractual agreements. I don't believe he's behind that camera at all. But what was funny is, and so many others picked up on it as well, is that when you zoom in, there's 2025, and I'll put a screenshot up here, written on the sand before she goes to write it. So what she's done is she's done multiple takes of going and running into the sand and doing 2025. Now look, okay, there's nothing wrong with doing that, because when you're trying to capture something, sometimes if it's, say, for a business, like for example, I do multiple takes on here. Like I'll be talking and I'll be like, no, that doesn't work. I'll do it again and do it again. I get that. But the problem is I have got no problem saying that. I have got no problem saying I wear more makeup when I come on and do the channel. I do things over and over again to get the correct phrasing or something along those lines. I tweak it, etc. I have got no problem saying that, because I believe in honesty and transparency. However, Meghan does things in a way to create herself to look as if she's being so authentic, because she loves that word, authentic. But it's so contrived. So she wants us to believe that she's running onto the sand, and someone just happened to grab the camera in that moment and just running onto the sand and went, 2025, and then giggled and run off camera. I mean, come on. Firstly, it's in black and white as well. Most people, when they take just genuine footage, don't do it in black and white. But it's so clearly obvious that this was practiced. And fine if you want to do that, but just be honest and stop selling yourself as this authentic person, because you're really not. And as I have noticed, and some other people have noticed as well, is this looked as if it was almost a carbon, again, copy. There was in 1998, I believe, Kate Moss, who's a supermodel, did a running onto the beach in a white shirt, etc. And some people have said that she's sort of mirroring that. Look, we can all take inspiration from somebody. I don't like Meghan, and I don't even really like giving her something, but at the end of the day, I like to be fair. So yes, she does plenty of other things, which we're going to get to in a minute, but in this particular instance, the beach scene, she wore black and, she wore a white shirt running into the sand. Okay, so what? Anyway, let's get on to the main thing. So we have Meghan, who, as we know, has got a contractual agreement with Netflix, and pretty much they have done nothing apart from their mockuseries, which to some degree has been deemed successful, and that's due to the views. But we all know why, because everybody was watching that to see what went wrong, what they did, what was said. Are they going to say anything about the royal family? So journalists were watching, and people like myself have watched. I haven't watched all of it because it's very hard to stomach. But in the views, it supposedly got into the top 10. Now, it shows the selling power isn't there about them per se, because then they put their name to, and I forget what it was. It was something else not long after that, and that didn't go anywhere. Harry's Polo has been not only slammed by the people that just don't like Harry, but actually people that are very high up in Polo. They have laughed at this. They've said it's laughable, and it's gone nowhere. Harry's Invictus, nowhere. So this really does show you that Harry does not have the star pulling power that he believes he used to have. And probably he did have, let's be fair, because he was a member of the royal family, or he was a working royal. So do I think that this is going to get into the top 10 regarding Meghan? Yes, I do. But not because the fact that she's popular, which is what the cult fan base are going to say. Like, oh my gosh, she's got to #1 or whatever it is. And she's so popular. Look at how well loved she is. No, it's got nothing to do with that. It's because the fact that people just want to see the car crash that she is. And this trailer hasn't disappointed. So yes, so it dropped. And of course, it's just before Catherine's birthday, the Princess of Wales. And so, of course, now everyone's talking about it. So in a way, I feel that, again, this was intentional because she drops it. And then on the 9th of January, it's Princess of Wales' birthday. And of course, the actual series is going to drop on the 15th of January, which is supposedly, I think in the States, it's Martin Luther King Day. So was that intentional by her? Possibly. Because we all know that they were, is it dancing in the streets or whatever it was when but anyway, so I like I say, there is this huge jealousy when it comes to her and Catherine, the way she feels about her. So I do think this was intentional to monopolize the media, because at the end of the day, that is all everyone is talking about right now. Not in a good way, but yeah. So she drops the trailer, and one of the first things I notice again is how contrived it is. And again, she's using, just authentic, dropping in with friends and just, elevating food and just good conversation. And it's not even in it's not even in the mansion. I mean, and I could have told you that before I even saw anything on social media, because as I have said, they're not living there. They do not live in that Montecito mansion. Now, do I believe that she is living or staying somewhere nearby? Yes, absolutely, to keep up the mirage of the fact that they live in Montecito. Yeah, absolutely. So she's hired, suppose this $8 million mansion. I mean, why? What? Why? You're cooking in a kitchen. Why have you felt the need to hire out an $8 million mansion? I mean, she's so tone deaf. It's just, it's not even funny at this point. I mean, is it funny? I don't know. But she just absolutely, with everything that's just going on, and also dropping the trailer when there's been this horrendous terrorist attack in New Orleans. So everyone is concerned and worried about that. There's so much going on. There's a cost of living crisis. There's so much, Americans are worrying about, and over here in the UK and other places in the world. And she drops this trailer where she's faffing around this $8 million mansion kitchen. But again, trying to make it seem as if it's hers. Like she's got bees. I mean, and we all know who she copied there. Let's be honest. I'm going to put the picture up there. Everyone spotted it. But of course, this, and it smacks to me like almost like a cross between, she's tried to copy, is it Emma's Kitchen? She's tried to copy or emulate Martha Stewart, but also I feel there is a dig at the royal family, because the royal family have been doing this type of thing. We've got King Charles with his preserves. There's lots of other things that the royal family delve into when it comes to this side of things. We often see Prince William going to various places and cooking, and we see Catherine doing it as well. And I think that this is something that she's done to try again to take the attention away from the royal family. Now, will that happen? No, not really, because I think this will be a flash in the pan. I think she'll realise that this isn't very successful. I think Netflix will realise this is not very successful. And again, we have her fake friends, and they seem to be around her consistently. So I've also heard that these two are also represented by the William Morris Agency. And that actually makes sense to me, because they seem to be, whenever she does anything, they're the two people that seem to appear. I feel that these two are sort of dragged out whenever there's something that she's doing, and they need to show support. And again, there's been a couple of chefs that have been brought on. Now, I don't know, they might be popular in America, but I've never heard of these two chefs. And then, of course, one of them, the guy, he goes, oh yeah, we're like family. And to me, that's like the kiss of death. What? Don't be saying that word, because we all know how that went. But of course, she's saying in the video, oh, everybody's welcome. Are they though? Because are your family welcome? Are Harry's family welcome? Your past friends, are they welcome? Not your, you know, your celebrity friends that you've acquired now. But again, even so, who are they? Obviously, it'll be interesting to see who appears on this particular show. But I do feel that, again, this is just incredibly pretentious from her. And this does smack to me as a last ditch attempt to get something up, because Netflix are probably, they're like, you know, we want our, you know, our item, our product, you know, we've paid for something, you need to deliver. And so we have Meghan now doing probably the most easiest thing she could potentially do, and that's getting other people involved to do the work for her, but then she swans around making it seem as if she's there cooking. I mean, come on, when you're elevating food and she's showcasing hummus drizzled with olive oil, how is that elevating? And then we have flowers in ice cubes. I'm sorry, but what everyday person decides to put flowers in ice cubes? And do you know, when I say this, sometimes I think, oh, am I going to have in the comments so many people going, well, actually, do you know what? Yeah, I put flowers in ice cubes quite a lot. And then sprinkling flowers on donuts. I'm sorry, but if I want a donut, the last thing I want to be eating is some flipping flowers. To me, sprinkles, sugary, lovely sprinkles is what I would be looking for, not flowers. What's that about? Not a rabbit. Why would I want to be eating flowers? Why would anyone? You know, I mean, okay, yes, decorative, but they're not even sugar flowers. They're dried flowers. I'm like that, picking bits out of my teeth. I'm like, lovely. But so you got flowers in ice cubes, and that's lovely. But when they melt, they might look attractive to start with, but then they're going to melt into your drink, and then you're just going to get a mouthful of flowers. And I'm talking about you, but would you? I wouldn't want that. I wouldn't want a mouthful of flowers. That, you know, again, you know, I'm not a rabbit. Don't want flowers. So this is not everyday stuff. And then she's like, and then she makes, well, allegedly makes a Victoria sponge, right? Which is a very British, you know, and I think they do have it everywhere, but it's quintessentially British. So she's elevating her Victoria sponge, which for Mindy is the most glamorous or wonderfulest thing she's ever had, you know, she's ever had in her life. And I just want to say, bless you, Mindy, if that really is the most extravagant, wonderful, glorious thing you've ever had in your life, my love, you need to get out more, because that's really tragic. She puts raspberries on it. Firstly, Victoria sponge is strawberry jam, just want to say. That's usually what it is. I know people can mix their jams and it is quite nice, but her elevating, so we've got her elevating hummus with some crunchy crudité vegetables by drizzling some olive oil on it. I mean, yeah, because that hasn't been done. Then we have donuts with flowers, ice cubes with flowers, and a Victoria sponge with raspberries and some leaves on it. Yeah, well, I honestly, I don't know where Meghan's been all my life, but without that, I don't know how I've quite survived in the cooking, you know, with when I've cooked, or anyone else in the cooking industry, because, wow. And then we have her walking, and then we have her walking around buying bunches of flowers. Why? And again, I think this is almost a bit like I say, like Emma's kitchen, a bit of Nigella, because, you know, she's in the kitchen and then she's making some kind of bread. Is it, I don't know, like flatbread for chia? I really don't know. But it's her and someone else sticking their fingers in this dough, which is not particularly very hygienic. But then she's there with her hair down, and not even her hair up, but her hair down, and she's wearing white. And again, this shows you that she's not there in the kitchen. And apparently chefs have come out and said what she's doing. She doesn't even know how to cut vegetables properly. So she's not even, in a sense, trained in anything in that way. She's a B-list actress, let's be honest, who, yes, she had the TIG. And yes, she went to fancy restaurants and she tried to mingle with the high society by buying her way in or manipulating her way in and getting deals, etc., which a lot of influencers will do. Nothing wrong with that. And I think at some point she had about 3 million followers, although I will say that was pretty much after she met Harry. Prior to that, I think it was around, I want to say maybe 1 million, maybe, I don't know. But nobody really knew of her unless you were an absolute fan of hers from Suits. Nobody knew of her. I didn't know of her. But if you look at some of her posts, which they are on, I think, Pinterest, and I want to thank Lost Beyond Pluto, because I was watching their video and I didn't know that some of the things were still on Pinterest, and I did see some of the posts that they put up about her TIG blog. So it's only fair to give them a shout out because I didn't find this, they did. So I'm going to put some up here, and but you can see it's literally like 1,000 something likes. So in relation to the big following that she allegedly had, she wasn't even getting very many likes on her pictures. But this is really what she was doing. She was just being more of an influencer, going out there and showcasing and trying to make it look as if she's living the high society life, when I think she was just doing what she's done all along, which is grifting. And again, nothing wrong with that. A lot of people do it. But this is what she's doing now. It's pretty much exactly the same type of thing, albeit that it's been taken from the TIG has kind of gone on camera. So then we have that. And then we have the fact that it's like this love yourself Meghan, or love Meghan. And again, this is pretty much a carbon copy of Pamela Anderson's cookery book and cookery show that's come out. She literally says, love Pamela. And again, it's about sort of being in the garden. It's like, you know, everything sort of being outdoorsy and you know, celebrating with family and friends, etc. Albeit that she does actually have family and friends, and you see them. Whereas with Meghan, not so much. These people are probably bought or paid for by WM, wherever they are. And yeah, so I think that this very contrived trying to again create herself to look like she's this everyday person that just likes to cook in the kitchen and bring friends together. Oh, please do me a favor. Firstly, it's not even your property, but you're making it seem like it is. It's not even your garden, but again, you're making it seem like it is. You don't keep bees. What are you talking about? That's just something you've done because you've seen the Princess of Wales do it, because everything you have to have a little dig at her at some point or other. You're faffing around in the kitchen in a ball gown and your fancy clothes. And again, this is just so not realistic. You've dragged people in to create probably a lot of these dishes for you. And then you're there front and center kind of going, oh, you know what, I've made this. It's a bit like the banana bread. I lovingly, you know, with my own hands, picked the bananas, grafted and made this banana bread, when actually it wasn't. It was actually made by the staff, and then she just presented it to make it her own. And that is what her brand is. Her brand is literally, other people do the hard work, Meghan takes credit. And Harry's pretty much the same. Other people do the hard work and they both take credit for it. They throw a bit of money from Merchywell, and then they kind of then add their name and make it seem like they are so philanthropic and they are humanitarian and they care about people. Well, they don't, because, you know, what about the women that are being paid? Is it 10 pence per bag to make some of her bags? Do you care about them? Not so much. Where's the support for your family, Meghan? You know, you're saying that you want, and this is why it's so hypocritical to me. And this is why I get so frustrated with the media, because they literally, she creates this false persona, this false narrative of their whole entire relationship. And don't get me wrong, Harry's the same, but this is about Meghan. And the media just sit back and just either go, la la la, we're not listening to anything else, and we're just going to put up what is in front of us because we've got blinkers on, or they just they just stop caring at this point and just put up whatever, because how can they how can they take this and then make it seem that this is where she's living? It's totally different. It's been proven that this is a property that she's renting out, and yet some of the media have said something, but they don't. They might mention it, but they don't go at her for it, like the way they attack the royal family, the way they attack other people. It's like, oh yeah, no, she's she's making it seem like she's living in this particular mansion, doing it in her own kitchen, but she's not. Oh well, never mind. Next. And, it's the same with, like I've said about the children. It's like that photograph is so obviously photoshopped. And it's like, oh, look, a lovely family photograph of Harry and Meghan and the children. Next. And it, and to me, this is the brand. Who can I get in to do all the work and let me take credit for it? And this is no different. This is no different. This is her TIG that's just been transferred to camera. And what makes me laugh is when you see some of the comments by her fan base, they're all swooning about how this is so amazing. And they are out in force because they've been very quiet. And all of a sudden it's like, this has dropped. And so I think the bot farm is working overtime again because they are out in force. And it's the same thing. They've got a script. If you dare say anything against Meghan, it is literally, the script is, you are racist, tick. You are a Karen, tick. You are jealous of Meghan, tick. You are, what is it? Oh, you wish you'd married Harry, please, tick. Oh, you're a hater. That's the common one. You're a hater, tick. And it's literally there, and I just laugh when I see them. I'm like, oh yeah, we're going with a hater today. Okay, so that's the common one today. And then tomorrow it might be that I'm racist, because even though Meghan looks whiter than Casper, I think Meghan at this point looks whiter than I do at times, unless she's doing the fake tan, in which case she doesn't. Then she goes, bit more colour, bit more flushed. That predominantly she she just looks white to me. So this whole narrative that her fan base have, and this whole thing of good for Meghan escaping the terrible royal family, but they don't seem to work out that she's keeping the titles and she's named her, and I'm going to say fake children because I don't believe she has any children, Prince and Princess. So yeah, we don't want any association with the royal family. We don't want to be doing the hard work. But what we do want is what gets us elevated. Like, let's be honest, without being part of this royal family, she wouldn't have got the Netflix deal. She wouldn't have a cookery show. So none of this would be happening if she hadn't have married into this awful family that everyone keeps saying. Well, say everyone, that's unfair. Her fan base, which are probably all of about 10 people, but then they're multiplied by the bot farm. So yeah, so just my thoughts on this is just that it is going to not go down well. It is going to be picked apart. Now, I think the media to some degree are going to fawn over her because for some unknown reason, they just enjoy doing that. But what I love is that it's the American media that are really turning. Because if you look at a lot of the British media, they seem to just still be so sycophantic, even though they're being sued by them, they've been slated by them, they've been, in a sense, lied about by them, etc. They've just, whether they're just running scared, I don't know. But the British media seem to be fawning all over them. And yet the American media, the American journalists, the American tabloids are going in, and a lot of the American celebrities are speaking out about it now. And there are people that are openly saying, I was a fan of hers, now I'm not, because it's becoming so clear in everything that she does that this has been to elevate herself. It's not about elevating food. It's not about elevating the relationship that she has with her friends. It is literally about elevating herself. This is what it's always been. And I absolutely 100% will say that if she could have got into Hollywood after marrying Harry, she would have done. She did. To me, this cookery show is, it's almost like the equivalent of Dancing with the Stars. Like I've said, I'm surprised she hasn't appeared on that yet. Give it time, or Celebrity Big Brother, give it time. She'll be there. Because I firmly believe her goal was Hollywood. Firmly. But when they left, the worldwide bug happened, and I think it scuppered all of her plans. And of course, because she's a narcissist and she's a malignant narcissist, her ego just took over and she couldn't help herself. So people started to really see who she was, and Harry too. So Harry's just a joke now anyway, and no one really takes her seriously. So unfortunately, Netflix has signed the deal by this point, and were like probably cursing that they'd got them this contract, because now they're kind of stuck with them. And so this is why I think this Polo happened, because Harry was like, I don't know what I can do. I'm not qualified in anything. I have no talent. I don't know what to do. Oh, I know. Well, let's talk about Polo, because that's all I know. And Invictus. Well, we did Invictus. That went nowhere. Polo, that went nowhere. And so really Megan's probably sitting there kind of going, well, I wanted to direct Pearl, but that fell apart because no one really was interested. Because I wanted to talk about myself, even though I was going to pretend it was going to be about a little girl, but it was going to be me. The Netflix docuseries, okay, yeah, got the views, but again, it was absolutely slammed. And I would have believed that Netflix lost a lot of viewers at that point. And now she's kind of like, okay, what can I do? What can I do where I can get the sort of maximum control, where I can, make it look like I've got this amazing brand. Let's do cooking. Let's do cooking, because we can get other people in, do all the work, and I can just be there, glamorous, looking on camera, looking amazing, and yeah, and voila. I've elevated hummus, I've elevated a Victoria sponge, and I've put flowers in my ice cubes, because nobody's thought of that before. Even though everyone is in a financial crisis right now, everyone is worried sick about the state of the world and everything else, but she's there completely tone deaf, and just doesn't care, in all fairness, about what is going on, as long as, like I say, she's elevating her hummus with crunchy vegetables. So yeah, I think it will. I think this is going to be a one-hit wonder. I really don't feel that she is really going to, because initially, yes, she might get the views, but it's going to tail off because people are going to be so bored, because other than ridiculing her, there's really not much else people are that interested in. And so yeah, so that's just my thoughts and opinions on this. I just think it's it's just terrible. It's terrible. But I will be here. I'll be watching it for you guys, so you guys don't have to, and I will be bringing you whatever it is that that she's bringing to the table, that she's elevating. But yeah, so let me know in the comments what you think. Are you in agreement? Is there something that you spotted that I didn't spot? Because sometimes it's very hard when you see a lot of things on social media. Sometimes it's really hard to kind of work out what's the truth and what's not the truth. I mean, I've heard certain things, but again, it's not backed up by anything credible. So I don't know. So yeah, but let me know some of the funny things that you've heard, and please go, unless Netflix have turned them off, because this was yesterday I looked, please go across and look at those comments, because they are hilarious. Yeah, so I will see you in the next video, and depending on what has happened in between then, I'm going to be discussing Megxit, because I know some of you, well, a lot of you said, yeah, talk about Megxit. And so I'm going to discuss Megxit in the next video. So thank you so much for being part of my channel. Thank you so much for the increase in views and the subscribers that have just come along. I'm almost at 80,000. I'm so excited. I really feel that this year is going to be, I'm going to hit my 100k mark, and I'm really, really excited and here for it. So please stick with me. And like I say, just thank you so much. And here's to 2025, a fantastic new year. And yeah, let's get going. So as always, you know, I love you, I appreciate you, but most of all, I respect you. Take care, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye. Mwah.